My 18-year-old daughter recently came out as a transgender woman. My husband and I have been 100% supportive from the very start. And I must admit, I welcome another girl in our house, especially when she already has three amazing brothers. Initially, she was comfortable using her birth name, as it carried a gender-neutral charm. But with her 18th birthday and the exciting prospect of college just around the corner, she decided it was time for a change. And here's the twist. She asked me, her mama, to choose her new name. I couldn't help but melt at her heartfelt request. Determined to find the perfect name, I turned to our community for inspiration. The only guideline she set was that it shouldn't sound like a name she renamed herself with. That is, nothing too outlandish or unconventional. It's a daunting task to choose a name for someone you know so well, especially when they're not a newborn anymore. My daughter is incredibly intelligent and bookish, with a shy yet spunky spirit and a heart full of kindness. Her striking features, gorgeous curly red hair and a smattering of freckles, only add to her charm. We come from a blended heritage of Jewish and Irish roots. Her brothers are named Lev, Raphael, Raph, and Elias, so I had to find a name that harmonized with theirs. Her middle name, a cherished family tradition, will be Miriam. The community's suggestions poured in like a warm embrace. One commenter recommended traditional names such as Ruth, Rachel, or Anna, simple and timeless choices. Others shared names that resonated with the essence of my daughter's personality. Alicia, Caitlin, Callie, Kira, Phoebe, Nadia, and Natalie were among the ideas floated. I even received comments highlighting names like Rebecca, Leah, Elizabeth, Eliza, Anna, Delilah, and Eve. Every suggestion was thoughtful, each reflecting the hope that her new name would fit seamlessly into our family's story. I remember one comment that truly warmed my heart. A kind soul shared how they had chosen a gender-neutral name for their son, allowing him the option to stay true to his identity or embrace change if he ever desired. It was a reminder that names carry so much meaning, sometimes more than we could ever imagine. After much deliberation and 3 cozy coffee dates around the city, where we used a different name as our order for each outing, we finally narrowed it down to a top 3. The names had to pass several tests. They had to suit her perfectly, resonate with who I was in 2006, and blend well with her brothers' names. Most importantly, though, the name had to be one she loved. When I presented the top 3 choices to her, she laughed and said, "Mom, this is defeating the purpose. I don't want to choose." So we devised a plan. Over the next few dates, she tried out each name in real life, letting her heart decide which one felt right. Although names like Talia and Aviva were strong contenders, neither quite captured her spirit. After what felt like years of careful thought, though in reality it wasn't that long, the decision was made. And as if by divine intervention, she revealed that the name I chose was secretly her favorite too. With Purim just around the corner, it felt like a sign from above. I am now the incredibly proud mama of Esther Miriam. The moment the name was announced, a nickname, Essie Mae, spontaneously emerged, courtesy of her dad, and I fell even more in love with it. Esther carries immense meaning for us as a Jewish family, and I can wholeheartedly say that even 2006 me would have chosen it without hesitation. The runner-up had been Naomi, a name we held close to our hearts. I couldn't have done it without the support of this community. Every comment, every suggestion, and every shared story helped me find a name that truly honors my daughter's journey. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. My life would turn into this. I'm 26 years old, pregnant for the first time, and was supposed to be experiencing one of the happiest times of my life. Instead, I'm walking around my own home, arms wrapped protectively around my belly, bracing for the next attack. From a 7-year-old. But before I get into that, let me start from the beginning. Falling in love with my husband. When I met my husband, I was 20, and he was 30. He was kind, mature, and completely heartbroken. His first wife had cheated on him repeatedly before finally leaving him for another man. He fought for custody of their daughter, Ava, but lost. His ex took her far away, cutting him out of her life almost completely. For years, he only saw Ava on special occasions. It was painful, but he had no choice. Meanwhile, we built our life together. We fell in love, moved in, got married, and decided to start our own family. After months of trying, I was finally pregnant. It should have been the beginning of something beautiful. Then Ava showed up on our doorstep. A little girl or a nightmare? Ava's mother had abandoned her. She left town to be with another man and dumped Ava at her elderly parents' house, parents who were too frail to take care of her. So Ava came to live with us. Just like that, my husband, who had barely been a presence in her life, was suddenly her full-time parent. And I was her stepmother. I wanted to welcome her. I wanted to be kind. But almost immediately, she made it clear. She hated me. She refused to eat anything I cooked, demanding pizza and ice cream instead. She deliberately made messes, drawing on my books and artwork with markers. She ignored me or talked back, rolling her eyes whenever I spoke. But the worst part? She started hitting me. At first, I thought it was an accident. The first time she touched my belly, I assumed she was just curious about the baby. But then she slapped it. Hard. It didn't stop there. She would hit my stomach as I walked past her, smirking as if daring me to react. When I tried to talk to her about it, she screamed, "You're not my mom. You can't tell me what to do." I told my husband everything. I begged him to discipline her, but he wouldn't. He was so desperate to bond with Ava that he let her get away with everything. And it only got worse. I hope your baby dies. One morning at breakfast, my husband tried to get Ava involved in the pregnancy. He asked her if she had any name ideas for the baby. She stared at him. "Nothing," she said. He laughed it off. "Come on, you can think of something." That's when she turned to me and said with a chilling calmness, "I hope your baby dies." My heart stopped. I waited for my husband to do something, to yell, to scold, to tell her how wrong that was. But all he said was, "You're a big girl. You shouldn't say things like that." That was it. I couldn't breathe. I was sitting across from a child who physically hurt me and now openly wished death on my baby. And the man who was supposed to protect us both? He wouldn't even raise his voice. That was the moment I knew I had to leave. A final attack and my escape. I made my decision that day. I would move out and stay with my parents for the rest of my pregnancy. I needed peace, safety, and distance from Ava's rage. But before I could leave, it happened one last time. Ava lunged at me. She swung at my stomach again. But this time, I reacted. I caught her wrist before she could hit me. I didn't yell. I didn't hurt her. I just held her still and said, "We do not hit." She looked at me furious. Then she kicked me, right in my pregnant belly. I felt the impact radiate through me, my baby, my entire body. My vision blurred, my hands shook. Every muscle in me burned with the effort not to retaliate. Instead, I turned to my husband and said, "I'm leaving." Where we are now. That was the last time I was alone with Ava. Since then, my husband has finally stepped up. He put Ava in therapy, and we started marriage counseling. I moved in with my parents, where I finally feel safe. The space has helped. My husband and I talk every day, and we're trying to rebuild. But I still don't know what the future holds. Ava is in therapy, but can therapy erase years of neglect, anger, and trauma? Can I ever feel safe with her around my child? Can I forgive my husband for failing me when I needed him most? I don't know. But for now, I'm focusing on my baby, on my peace, on surviving this, one day at a time.